Hello and welcome to this very special episode of We Connect. I'm Jennifer Arul, and I'd like to thank you for having watched us over this past year. Whilst looking for guests, we've always tried to find people who are informative as well as being interesting. Over the past year, we've talked to experts on organ donation, HIV/AIDS, diabetes, and how our very big hospitals are run. Take a look. Dr. Shroff, in terms of Tamil Nadu, pin it down for me. Give me some numbers. What are the numbers like?
Since October 2008, the Tamil Nadu government has formed a network where they have connected all the private hospitals with the government hospitals. And in the last about 2 years, we have been able to do 154 organ donors, which has translated into 900 different organs. It is not a small number. Today, when we talk of organ donation, we talk of organ donation rate per million. The highest organ donation rate is done by a country called Spain, of course. Spain. They do about 34 per million donation rate. Tamil Nadu last year managed to do 1 per million donation rate. This is the first time we have reached that figure. Previous to that, we were having 0.0506 per million donation rate.
You're into research, Sunil. What kind of money just comes into research in India?
In India, the primary sources of income are probably the Indian Council for Medical Research and the National AIDS Control Organization.
What about big companies, corporate giants, philanthropists?
If you're asking if there are any Bill Gates in India, there really is. Like, I know there are a lot of the richest people in the world who live in India, but I haven't really seen or don't even know how you would go about approaching them for research funding.
They're not interested, is it? I mean, strange, isn't it, Sunil?
Right. If each of these rich families can support 2 of my families who are infected, I think we would have made a mark.
Obesity rates are going up very rapidly, and obesity is a forerunner for diabetes.
Right.
That's because of our wrong eating habits and the fast foods, the junk foods, physical activity going down. Everybody's using lifts and escalators and not using staircase anymore. No physical activity, no time for leisure activity, earning more, eating junk foods, drinking all the soft
Price
drinks.
of success sometimes, or development, would you say?
Yeah. So in a way, it's good that India is progressing, and we are going to become a superpower. We're already the 4th largest economy, and we're going to beat Germany very soon, and we're going to beat Japan, and then we're going to become the 2nd or 3rd largest economy. All that is fine. But along with that, the price we are paying is that people develop a belly, and they get diabetes, and it's no longer a status symbol.
There's a lot to be done, really. Let's get down to that. There's a Bharat and there's an India. And I think the India part, is going places. We have centers of excellence, many islands of excellence, and they're doing a phenomenal job. Our outcomes are on par with the rest of the world. The Cleveland Clinic might have like a 98.5% success rate in cardiac surgeries. We have the same, if not better. So I think in pockets, we're doing a phenomenal job in terms of, high-end care, tertiary care, investing in great technology. All that is happening. So no complaints about that. But then when you look at the other side of India, if you look at the Bharat side of India, there's so many people who need to be looked after. Sometimes I worry that 200 miles out of the city of Chennai or Delhi or Bombay, you can't even get good clean drinking water. So I think, we have to worry about the health and hygiene of people.
And what about numbers? Is there any way we can, you can tell me this many number of people in India are actually afflicted by multiple sclerosis?
Yeah, we can't give you definitive statistics because when the rich get it, they do not want to tell anybody about it.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's a myth.
Why? Is there a stigma attached or why?
I really, one cannot really tell you why, but it's something like this. They just don't want anybody to know. It's a disease like anything else, but when it comes to MS, most of our rich people in India particularly, I've noticed, they don't want to be known nor to be identified. They don't even want our literature or our visits.
Dr. Shanta, we're sitting in a very happy kind of environment here. It's so colorful, it's so bright, and this is a new building where you are now concentrating on children who have cancer. So is this the way to be going? You did say about it being therapeutics.
Well, pediatric cancers have always been my, what should I say, it has a very strong hold on my heart, because children, when you see them with disease,
we are very, very upset. The whole hospital is upset in the early years when they used to be running about the hospital. So I took a lot of interest, and we did have a program to improve their cure. And we introduced the pediatric oncology division at the institute in 1961 when there were none in the whole of the country. So that we have extended here by providing them an extremely nice environment.
Yeah.
And I think we are grateful to the Mahesh Memorial Trust and to Mrs. Mahesh for providing this to us.
You've been working so much on getting an awareness for Down syndrome. Has it made any difference? What do you think?
The word Down syndrome itself never existed 30 years ago. We used to call them Mongoloid people. And it took me a long time to realize that people with Down syndrome are absolutely no different from us. They exist in this world. They want to be you and me. They want to be friends with us. They want to they strive so hard to be perfect. It's just that we don't understand what perfection is, because each one has a different level of perfection. But what were expectations that we had 30 years ago are so different today.
And then there were our sports persons, all Chennai based, who brought laurels not just to our city and our state, but to the country as well. They were from different fields, from tennis, from basketball, from cricket, and of course we also had the very rare privilege of talking to the man who really brought Formula One to India. I want to go back to that point that we were talking about schools and colleges encouraging children to play, girls specifically. So do you think that these institutions are doing enough?
I think a lot needs to be done by these institutions, the schools and colleges, if they can come in a big way. I don't say that they should have a team by themselves, even if they could identify girls or children, girl child who's interested in the game. I mean, if they can register their name, definitely it'll go a long way, because when we started playing, we were very few people who started the game, right? Not many people knew about women's cricket was existent then.
That's true, like women's boxing and so many other fields that women have entered.
Any game for that matter, it's going to take a long time. But then women's cricket has now come to stay. Now where are we going to find the future players of women's cricket? It's going to be in the schools, it's going to be in the colleges.
You never really see that a sports person in our country can actually live by being a sports person. Do you think that will change at any time?
It has to change, because professional leagues, once you have the professional leagues, you get recognition, automatically the money will be there. And it is a career. And for sports people, the life of a sportsman is very, very short.
That's right.
So you have to save for the entire life.
So now Formula One has made its appearance in our country. What's Vicky Chandok thinking? Satisfied with the way it happened?
For sure. I mean, 15 years ago, I made a public statement saying we will have Formula One in India in 15 years' time.
It happened.
And it actually happened. And of course, the critics of the world, India is famous for that, as you know. And they said over our dead body and so on and so forth. Well, bless them, none of them are dead, and they were all there at the
And they were all
event
there to enjoy it, right?
Exactly.
Time for us to take a very short break, but we'll get right back with you.
Today we are going to discuss something with a slight difference.
No matter what choices I've made or obstacles I've overcome.
Something gold. Something hot. Some technology. And some fiction.
But some shit never changes.
Game on every Sunday, 5 p.m.
Welcome back to this special episode of Reconnect. During the year, I had the distinct pleasure of talking to people who have really varied interests. For instance, I talked to a soil ecologist who told me about earthworms, a celebrity chef, a young lady who's making her mark as a professional photographer, and along the way, I learned a trick or two from a well-known magician.
We made earthworms where children can play with it. And how
Play with worms?
Yeah, because I would say the worms would play with the children.
Really? Okay. Have you found though that children are receptive to playing with your little earthworms? I mean, and I don't mean to make this frivolous, but seriously tell me, I mean, because these days our kids are sitting in front of computers and I can't honestly imagine that they would be excited about that.
That's something wonderful. Very recent at the Sacred Heart school, like we were just working with the children, and for the first time I was taking worms in my hand and showing it to them, and then there was a beautiful red millipede which was going. I caught it, I put it, and some child said, "It's poisonous, it's dangerous." I said, "No, it's not, absolutely. See, I'm just touching them and they're not dangerous." Then she said, "Can I hold it?"
Now, Tonya, you've just started as a professional photographer not so long ago. How easy is it for somebody like yourself to actually combine the creative side of you and the business side of you? Because at the end of the day, we all need to make money with what we're doing. How does it work?
I started off on a rough note because it's your passion to click. Yes. And anybody who comes along, you're like, yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? But then after 6 months, I sat back and thought, like, I put in so much of money into it and I've not made a single rupee because I've been just doing things for free and stuff like that, just forgetting about the business side of it. And then I've talked to people on the business side of it, gotten some notes and just jotted on some things that I should do. And I've picked up from there, and the first thing that I've done is market myself. I've put myself out really well, and I've made a name for myself.
Good for you.
And from there, business is starting to pick up, I should say.
Sanjeev, tell me, where does Sanjeev Kapoor go from here? He's done so many things. I know you did say that there's still scope. What are your plans?
I think in terms of food, my big objective is to see it as the most popular food worldwide. And
it would be lovely, wouldn't it?
It would be so much fun, and that's what I do. So if I have to train people anywhere in the world, I say, don't worry, I'll come and I'll do it personally. I will do it, and I will do it free. But you have to promise that. So if it is a hotel or a restaurant, you have to include that in your menu.
Yeah, that's nice.
The Sarkars have been enthralling audiences with their magic for generations. We catch up with the youngest member of the family on Reconnect. What happened when you get started?
I started off magic right from my father's magic show, and following the footsteps of my grandfather, my father. That's why I'm here in Chennai performing a 1-month program in Rani Sitai Hall. So I guess before that, I've got something for you too. Okay. All right. My magic wand. Okay. Yes. This is for you.
Thanks. Well, I got lucky here right at the start of this program. But we were talking now when we started about your family and the fact that you learnt it at your father's knee, really, magic?
Yeah, see, like I faced this question a lot of times that is it because I'm the only male representative or the only PC Sarkar of this present generation, that is why I'm doing magic? No, not at all.
Interesting people passed through our city over the past year, and we managed to nab a lot of them to be on our show. Leading politicians from different countries, a man who deals with diamonds, and two very, very well-known and very interesting astrologers. So do take a look at these people. Senator Chris Evans is a minister in the Australian federal government. He looks after tertiary education, skills and jobs. He's here in our country on a short visit, and we were able to get him onto our show on this his last sector while he's here in India. Thank you so much, Senator Evans, for joining us. Let me ask first, overall, are you satisfied and entirely pleased with your visit to this country?
Look, we've had a really good visit. I met with Minister Kapil Sibal and we had the inaugural meeting of the Australia-India Education Council. So it's a framework for developing education relations between the two countries.
The Vedic technology, I prefer to call it, is high-tech because it supersedes all the technologies that we know of now. The fundamental premise is, according to the Vedas, everything starts with vibrations. Om is the primordial vibration. That's exactly what the quantum physics now says, that it's not just the particle, that's the reality. It is just the vibration of strings or bands that create reality. So the Vedic science goes one step beyond that and says that it is the vibration that produces not only the matter but also consciousness and energy.
Now, you've been overseas now for 14 years. I was just wondering about the nature of your work in New York City.
Well, in New York, I basically cover the United Nations. That's my beat. I go there every day in the morning and I attend the spokesman's meeting, which is daily briefing of what's going on in the UN. But my special interest is of South Asia. I cover India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, especially Sri Lanka.
So how easy is it for you to be sitting in New York and covering South Asia and this side of the world?
Because I consider UN as a world. Whatever happening everywhere, that's kind of you get it kind of reverberation in the UN.
Right.
So we meet with a lot of diplomats, foreign ministers, and that's how every day there is something happening in the UN.
Both of these things together, I mean, it's such an amazing combination, I honestly tell you that.
Well, the name and Australia, it's a strange bedfellows.
I know, that's true.
Mostly what people ask me is my name.
Yes, that's true. That would have been my
Isn't
next.
that the sage of India? And actually that was a name that was given to me. So, no, it's not my birth name,
So,
but it is
yeah.
my legal name now.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, I changed it. I had a lot of respect for my first teacher, Swami Muktananda. In 1980 he gave me that name when I was, just delving into meditation and trying to get some insights into myself.
You also come across as being someone who enjoys interacting with people who have questions about you, about where you're coming from, what you're thinking, what you put into your book, your process of writing. Is that something that interests you, Anna?
I just like people. I like talking to people, and I do this very isolated thing for a living, and then every few years when a book comes out, they let me out and I get to talk to people.
You get to talk to a lot of people.
I get to talk to lots
of people, yes.
And it's a real privilege.
Now, talking about these beautiful diamonds, De Beers has achieved, it's kind of the world leader. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt, there's very little doubt about this in anybody's mind when it comes to diamonds. What do you believe is the way your group has actually achieved this pinnacle of, excellence, really?
Well, it certainly is a unique story because, De Beers was founded in 1888
Long time.
in South Africa, and from the first day of its foundation, it was the leading company in the industry.
How?
And now, 120 years later, it is as well. Originally, I think because it found the world's biggest diamond mine. But, as the century literally has passed, there are a lot of other people producing diamonds today. But how will we maintain that leadership? I think it's because, when I say it, it sounds a little corny, but really we just have this dream of what a diamond should be. And we do whatever it takes to make sure that dream, the preciousness, the emotion, the specialness, the uniqueness is preserved.
We'll go away for just a very short while and then get right back with you. So please don't go anywhere. Big names, big budget, big ideas,
big hits. The bigger, the better. Don't miss The Big Pick with me, Paloma.
The Big Pick, every Saturday, 8:30 p.m.
The Big Pick is brought to you in association with CSE Computer Education New Year Offer.
Welcome back to our program. During the past year, the wheels of business ground slowly but surely. We got an exclusive peek into an auto company. We visited their factory and brought you very exclusive pictures. We also talked to an IT giant, and we had the privilege of catching up with two people who belong to the travel industry. You had 60,000 units that were actually sold in just under 1 year.
Yeah.
Did Ford actually expect that it would be this runaway success that it was?
Well, I guess we hoped, and the only way you can really define that is to say, okay, we need to position the vehicle in the heart of the small car segment, where 70% of all cars are sold here in India, in that hatchback segment. And so we had to work extremely hard on a number of inputs, and the key to that was obviously great quality, great price positioning, and to put the cost base to a level where we could then price position the car very aggressively. And fortunately, the customers have responded. We've had a terrific time in terms of awards. We're the most awarded car now.
Can we talk about the number of people who actually come into the country vis-a-vis those who actually travel outside of India?
Sure. Like I said, last year 5.58 million tourists, and
that was incoming?
Incoming. We call them inbound tourism.
Yeah.
And outbound was about 12 million.
That's a lot.
That's huge.
So are we saying here that Indians have become really big travelers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Indians are now the most sought after, if I should say that, use that expression, among the different countries, whether it's Southeast Asia, whether it's the Western countries, whether it's France, UK, all of them are targeting Indian travelers, mainly because of their spending. They are looking at the economic impact of tourism, which is in terms of how much revenue they earn.
The lucky thing is, I think in India, the engine is really moving. I mean, you still have 5, 6, 7% growth being predicted by various people. So I think we are hopeful that the Indian market, especially for our various businesses, is going to be robust and that it's going to grow. Apart from that, the world market is going to look at how do you save money in various things, how do you save cash, so that we see through this whole downturn or this period of uncertainty. So in these twin things, we see some sort of an opportunity for Ramco Systems, because what we are creating, I think, can dramatically alter the economics of the enterprise software industry.
During this last segment, we're going to rewind and let you listen to some of the people who bring cheer, they bring laughter, and they bring lots of music and light into our world. So you just keep watching this.
Performing artists can encompass many different things.
Right.
Music is one thing, videos is another thing, because I'm performing in the videos, instructional videos is another thing, so many different aspects of that.
So do you believe that by using the talents that you have in terms of being a musician, that it's that much easier and that more effective when you're trying to get a message across?
I believe it is, and I believe in this era, in this generation, I think it's very, we're living in exciting times with technology. You look at technology, and it's and for me, as you know, I feel so old, and I think I am old.
Absolutely not.
I feel it so many times. I just finished performing 2 nights in a row. I cannot believe, as a 34-year-old, that I can dance and have so much this energy. It must be from above.
Asad, is it not difficult to retain that purity that you're talking about, along with this very contemporary air that you bring to your performances? I mean, how easy is it to do that? Tell me, to the uninitiated, explain that, please.
See, I grew up, I was trained as a traditional Indian classical dancer.
Kathak and Kathakali, yes.
You know, but people always tell me as, oh, he's Western. You know, I'm not Western at all. Even my style, though I've learned and had the opportunity of spending time with some great choreographers in the West, observing and being with them as an apprentice. so absorbing like a sponge, you know, just taking in as much and taking, and what is very necessary, that when you're taking from a different culture, you got to make sure that whatever you take is going to sort of integrate, and it's like, you know, on your television jargon one would say, a slow fade in to come with another, you
Yes,
know,
right.
visual, which sort of is pleasing.
You started when you were a very little boy learning the guitar and the piano. So your father was right there. Of course, he's also a very well-known musician. Is that really, did he push you, I wonder? Did he push you into learning?
But no, he didn't push me, but he had an ambition that he wants his son to be a best classical guitarist. Since he was a guitarist, and there are things which he couldn't accomplish, like to learn Western classical. So he put me on to Mr. A. Abdul Sattar when I was 5 and a half. So he bought me a small guitar, and that's where things started. And but eventually I started liking this art when I was 8 or 9 only. Then after getting to know about the nuances of and the fine things about the music, then like I was completely glued to this.
You got hooked, really.
Yeah, fabulous.
Right. Did your dad ever really try to teach you himself? I mean, or was he just there like in the background? You did say Abdul Sattar was your teacher.
Yes, yes. Mr. Abdul Sattar was my teacher. But my dad made sure that I practice every day. So as soon as he was back from his walk every day, the first question he raised was, "Did he practice today?" So he'll ask my mom the question.
And how long did he practice for? Probably he asked that question also.
So I'll take 2 hours every day to practice guitar.
Really?
So that's more than the study time. So for the time spent for studying, for my studies and the other things, but so he gave prominent for music, and that's the reason I'm here now.
World music, global music, what does it mean to somebody who doesn't necessarily know all about music like you do?
See, actually, like all the, I mean, the entire musical universe, I mean, it has just the 7 swaras, sa re ga ma pa dha ni, or do re mi fa sol la si de. I mean, it's common to all, but the way the notes are produced, you know, it gives rise to different styles of music. Like we have the Carnatic music. Carnatic music is so rich in the gamakas or ornamentations. Like for instance, if you take a raga, it's so rich in the gamakas, Carnatic music. Whereas if you take another style, like for instance Japanese music or something like that, Sakura, Sakura,
yes, different.
You see how it's
different.
Yeah, it is different.
Well, that's all we have time for here on this episode of We Connect. Of course, I had lots of very, very interesting guests during this past year. Unfortunately, it hasn't been possible to put all of them into this particular program. But to you, my viewers, thank you so much for watching us. And don't forget to have a wonderful 2012. Goodbye and keep watching.